What's a secret you can't share with your significant other? That I love her dearly, but the idea of marrying into her family seems like the worst life choice I could ever make as things stand right now. My family is keeping me from dating. I moved far away from my family to start my own life. I'm just so ashamed of them. Just how much I can't stand my mother-in-law, her mother. My wife is aware that I'm not particularly fond of her, but I can't tell her just how badly I truly despise that woman. This is me, except it's her entire family. I've never met such a toxic, angry group of people. Mom's side, with her other side being Jesus-loving racists. It's insane how my wife is actually mostly normal. That I am so happy my wife cheated on me. I've been daydreaming for years about being alone. She gave me the reason. Still love her for making our daughter, but want my freedom and sanity back. 4.5 years after my divorce, I still feel this way. My ex-wife did me a favor. I got to get out without being the bad guy. I no longer feel trapped and stifled and taken for granted. That our dead bedroom fricks with my head and confidence several times a day, every day. She of course knows that it bothers me, but not to what extent. And she can't. Her lack of libido is driven by depression, so if she knew that her depression was generating insane fear and anxiety and even some anger in me, what would that help? A pity frick would feel awful for us both. I don't want to guilt her for something outside her control. I'll never cheat on her. Just stuck, wondering if it'll ever get better, if it's actually my fault, if I fricked up never having a hoe phase, if this is just what I'm in for forever. Pretty much anything personal that I'm insecure about, because she will automatically tell all her friends, often in front of me. She has a weird thing where she isn't funny in the slightest, so as to elevate her social status, trying to make people laugh by making fun of easy targets she is comfortable with, such as the husband. Oh yeah, Chad feels this and Chad does this and that. I remember I went to her friend's birthday and her friend's sister, and her sister's friend asked me about certain things I like in the bedroom. Like that crap is intimate. She's told some girl and she's told her sister and then she's told her mate about something I'm insecure about and share with those I am most closest and intimate to. Bro, that crosses so many lines. Please get through to her that that crap is not okay, holy frick. That would be one of my worst nightmares, not being able to trust my soul in the slightest and constantly wondering who knows what. I go through life, the military and then a nurse, knowing that I am a clueless little boy inside. Everyone thinks I'm great because I'm fun, but it's because I never grew up. I just learned how to react to people in public. I go from mistake to mistake like life is a pinball machine. Without learning and becoming better, I never learn. I guess that's how all of our lives are. We just don't admit it like you do. That guy who grabbed her and threw her off the edge in her third match of Fall Guys was me. She was soapy, but in the most absolutely cutest way possible. I gotta admit that I was a bit concerned at first. That I lost my virginity to her. I had previously told her I had had sex before, due to feeling deeply insecure before having met her. She lost her virginity to me though. I really want to tell her about this, but feel deeply embarrassed still. I did the same. We've now been together 8 years and got married earlier this year. It's the only thing I've ever lied to her about. My stupid teenage brain was too insecure to tell her the truth and made up a bunch of bulls, and now I feel like it's been too long to come out and tell her the truth. I wish I could go back and slap younger me and tell me to tell the truth. That sometimes I just need some alone time to play games or relax in bed watching YouTube videos. She's the kind of person who would be happy going out every day and doing something, but I'm a homebody and I have no idea how we've made it for almost 2 years being completely different in a lot of ways. But I guess it's like that saying, opposites attract. For one moment I thought this was my husband lol, but he actually told me that personally several times when we started dating. That I'm beginning to plot proposal ideas. It's still definitely a few months out and she and I will have to talk about it more, but still. When you were alive, you were the craziest bee I ever knew, but frick, I loved you more than life itself. Without you here, it is all grey and meaningless, but you always told me to stay freaking strong, so I will. Miss you, Sal. Dang bro, I'm sorry to hear she's gone. I can't even imagine losing my fiancé, that's just. Dang bro, I'm sorry. Hit me up if you ever need to vent. I'll listen. That I feel like a fraud, and I'm sad for him that he's stuck with me. He's such a fantastic and wonderful person. That I feel like a piece of crap in comparison to him. I feel like this most of the time too. My husband is incredible at everything. I have very few talents. He is in shape and handsome and loves animals and can fix anything. He's amazing with our son. And I'm just here with depression and anxiety, barely making it through the day, knowing he deserves better, and so does my son. It's exhausting to feel this way, and I'm sorry you feel this way too. I still have a few articles of clothes my ex bought me. If my wife knew, she'd give me crap every time she saw me wearing them, and would definitely doubt that I didn't still feel anything for her when I wore them. But there is absolutely zero sentimental value in them. I just like the shirts. There's no need at all to tell her about this. That I love her. It's too new of a relationship and I don't want to move it too fast, but I am head over heels for this girl. I just told her anyway. It might be a shock, but it's more romantic when you're straightforward. At least in my relationship it was. I don't really like avocados, but I love guacamole. I don't know why. So I lied and said I was allergic on our first date, not knowing the relationship would go anywhere. And now 8 years later we're married and I'm very committed to the lie. When I go out with friends it's guacamole city, and when I'm with him, he is very concerned for my safety. He'll ask servers if the food I ordered contains any avocado, just so I'm safe. It's very sweet. We went to Mexico for our honeymoon and there was fresh guac everywhere, and guess who couldn't have any? Me. The liar. This one goes to my deathbed, I think. That I've lost all hope for me. I'm close to graduating college, but my grades aren't that great and I have no idea what I want to do with my life, if I even can do anything with it. I worry every day about the future and I pray to God I don't frick hers up. I felt the same way when I was graduating. It was hard, but I eventually figured it out. Take a personality test to see what jobs are compatible with you, then pick the one that pays the most. For me the biggest obstacle was committing to something. You can do it. 99% of all good in my life comes from her. She's made me mature in so many ways, made me want to take better care of myself, improved so much of my life just by being in it. Her saying yes when I proposed was genuinely the happiest I have ever been. I can go from infuriated and pee off with work or anything, but seconds after speaking with her I'm happy, cheery, and we're both cursing out my co-workers or other branch workers together, or she's making me laugh or smile somehow. The issue being I'm always a pessimistic person, and now the fear weighs over me that if she goes all that goodness will go with her. Some nights I can't sleep because of that worry. Normally I could use my pessimism to my advantage to be prepared for nearly all scenarios in one way or another, but this dread is just another level. I recommend therapy. D probably once the whole pandemic is over though, cause kinda shitty and not super worth RN. That I have ADHD and getting medicated for it. I'm in medical school and I've had doctor tutors who were meant to support me in getting through my degree minimize my issues and not believe it to be a real thing. I'm terrified my soul will share this view, so I'd rather keep it to myself. It's been such a difficult identity to deal with as it is. I don't give a crap about her high school experience, and for the life of me cannot understand why she keeps dwelling on what ifs from half a lifetime ago. LOL, I know someone like this. They're a college dropout who was the QB in high school. It must have been the highlight of their life and they can't move on from it, but I listen because I don't want to be rude. It can be grating though if it's persistent. That her very low libido and infrequent physical cuddling prompt me to feel lonely and neglected, even though I know she's perfectly happy and just doesn't enjoy sexuality and physical touch very much because of her limitations. I know she loves me, and I love her, and we make a good team, but her desire for sensuality is negligible compared to mine. How sore, tired, and sick my cancer treatment is making me feel. That 95% of the time I think she's a wonderful mom, but that 5% of the time keeps me up at night as much as the baby does. Postpartum is something that needs to be treated seriously, and when combined with a person with a tendency to be impatient and respond poorly to stress, it's a cocktail you don't want to drink. I knew we were going to be in over our heads with PPD before the baby was born, but there have been isolated incidents that make me not want to have a second child with her on my most insecure and worried moments. That her emotional affair sounds like it was far more special than what I ever gave her. That if she says she wants to leave, I will just ghost this time and move to another country. That I will never be the same after he cheated. He apologized and I forgave him, but that crap changed me, probably in a way that he wouldn't like. I don't think I will ever trust anybody again, and if we weren't married I would have left him. While no longer relevant since she and I have been broken up for 2 years, my ex and I had been together almost 5 years, but I could have never told her I was using dong pills to get hard when we first started seeing each other because I'd get nervous in the beginning when it came to sex. Didn't need them after a few months, but was something I was ashamed of for a while. I make almost 100k USD more a year than she thinks I do, and triple her salary. I love her to bits, but she's the worst person with money I have ever met in my life. If she had $800 in her account, she would spend $700 and save the rest just in case until next payday. I legitimately cannot live like that. That stress would absolutely kill me. I'm super happy knowing that I have enough money that no matter what happens we will be okay for a long time. She however would absolutely try to convince me to blow it on a lot of things we don't need that she thinks we should be doing, like a lavish wedding or get brand new cars or actually buy a house, etc. Also, to be completely honest, when I scrape together money and spoil her I'm absolutely amazing in her eyes, when I feel like it would become completely meaningless to her if she knew how much less of an impact it made on my finances. This is not a suitable foundation for a lifelong relationship. I can only orgasm by visualizing him fricking his exes. Now that's a secret. I'm worried I've burned through all my patience for him during the pandemic and that I can never have more without being alone for a time first. This pandemic has been hard on a lot of couples. Having your space at least every so often should be the norm in a healthy relationship. I recommend telling him and maybe you can work through it, but if you do need to be alone for a bit then you have to do what's best for you. Good luck. The guitarist for our favorite band is high school besties with Adrian Grenier from Entourage. He came to a show we attended but she was too nervous to go and tell him that she was a fan, so I waited until I was near him and she wasn't. Then asked him if he could maybe say something to her. She was in the front of the line at the bar waiting for the bartender when Adrian very politely tapped on her shoulder and asked if she was in line. Obviously flustered she said she was, then turned back to the bar quickly. After another 5 seconds she whipped back around with her hand out and told him that she loved his work. She was so excited. He seemed like a very polite and genuine guy. I will never tell her I orchestrated this due to her excitement from Adrian speaking to her unprompted. How many times in the past I was suicidal. I just didn't want to talk about it. I silently got therapy, worked it out. My husband would have been super supportive, but it was just another medical issue I would have put on his shoulders. I'm disabled, and he helps quite a bit, so I just didn't. No point now, I'm good. We're good. It's 15 plus years in the past, so it had just caused stress. That I think I know what really happened. That we were fixable. That we were happy. That you panicked and made a decision based on all the horrible crap that happened to you in the past. And now you're living with a decision you regret because the ball has already rolled so far. Been there, man. Lost my fiancé and GF of 10 plus years to this. 10 years later, I've completely moved on from her but have never been in a relationship again because I cannot trust anyone not to blow up my life and heart again. Thing is, being so alone for so long has already ruined me. I hope you have a better time of it. That I had sex with 15 girls in the span of 1 year before I met her. I had an epic hoe phase after a breakup when I was 21. I don't want her to find that out at all. I will preface with the fact that my girlfriend and I are pretty inseparable and I love her more than anything in the world. That being said, she's much more modern than I in that she sees marriage as an archaic layover from men owning women and she doesn't understand why the government has to be involved. So of course she resents it. I on the other hand have always wanted to marry. When I'm with a girl, she's my world, and I'm very confident I'll always be with her. So it makes me really sad sometimes knowing I may never know what having a marriage is like. I see other guys my age getting to propose and seeming so happy. My family is always asking me when I'm going to propose. It's not a big enough deal to leave her over it. It would just be nice. Don't even get me started on kids, either. The secret is her and her alone. We've been married 11 years and we have 3 beautiful children together. When she walks in the door, my heart stops and I have trouble breathing. When she looks at me and smiles. Last week, before we had sex, she caught me drooling when she was taking off her clothes before me. She asked me if I was alright, and I told her that I had a piece of gum in my mouth, and that it wasn't anything. Instead, I should have told her that she got the body of a goddess, and that I have a hard time snapping out of it when she's around. Truth be told, I'm utterly in love with her. I think about her every hour of the day when I'm at work, and when she kisses me it feels like I'm 12 again and lucky enough to enjoy the first kiss forever. I'm just afraid to tell her. I'm afraid she'd think I'm some obsessed freak, and frankly, I am. I hope I'll love my wife like that. That I'm not really happy with life and I think about suicide quite often. I don't want to place any more pressure stress on her during the final year of her degree she's worked so hard for. Before I met my girlfriend I had the most adorable awesome cat named Chan. Chan was always there for me and had so much personality. She always slept in my bed. When my GF came along and started spending the night she didn't want Chan in the bed, then didn't want her in the room. One day Chan went outside. She was inside. Outside cat but came back in every night. And never came back. I secretly loathe my girlfriend for that because I truly believed Chan was aware that she'd be replaced and felt unwanted. It's been 4 years and I still miss her. Dang, I expected some dark comments but this really got dark lol. I'd say how much time I actually play video games X. Man, your relationships frickin' suck. My biggest problem was that I was scared to tell her my favorite color is pink cause I thought she would think I was girly. Meanwhile you're over here like I hate that bee. My wife is 800 pounds and never bathes but we have 9 kids so I'm stuck with her. Can't probably nothing, but there's a lot of things that I don't tell her just out of the blue because I don't want to bother her with it. Things like my state of mind, things I'm insecure about, what I think when I see a beautiful woman, the fact that I take care of myself when don't have sex, all things that are of no real use of her knowing. Secrets? Health things too by the way, not really, if she wants she can have know it, but as long as she doesn't ask, I see no reason to tell. I'm a married woman and can 100% relate. I am the same with my husband. I suffer from depression and chronic migraines and at some point it just feels like complaining. I gave chlamydia to 11 girls during high school before I understood that I was the source, and then got tested. Oops. Imagine freaking at least 12 girls in high school. Jesus. No hate or anything but like dang. A big part of me truly does believe that we are living in the end game now and that through either politics, economics, or the climate, we are going to have a major cataclysm at some point within our lives. We're both in our early 30s and anytime she talks about retirement or grandkids or anything like that I just laugh internally because I don't think we're going to be doing too great in 40 years in any capacity. The part that I can't share, sometimes I think that this is good, and I almost want it to come already, like I've been tired of waiting for it. Just get to the end already. That I killed a copperhead snake, venomous, in our basement a few weeks ago. I found where it got in and patched the hole, but she would insist on moving to another state if she knew. That every single day since she passed has been miserable. She's my whole heart and any moment I'm awake I'm broken. Every day and night is filled with tears and memories. I love you Em. I will always love you. I'm almost ready to join you. I did a drug test using fake urine and we moved across the country before it came back. I've been internally crapping bricks for over a month waiting for results but they are held up with COVID. If it failed we'd be pretty fricked. Like really bad. She told me not to tell her if it came down to this and I didn't but it feels bizarre being dug into a lie with nobody to tell. I'm 99% positive I passed though now. We really need to decriminalize. Sorry, and I agree, you're probably fine. That I'm emotionally freaked up to the point where I've had to fake most emotions just to be seen as normal. I've practiced how to appear happy, sad, angry, frustrated, etc. But I honestly don't feel any of it. That I'm contemplating if I really want to be with him. He's everything I've ever wanted, but his lack of certainty with me makes me scared. I want to run first instead of facing a painful rejection. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.